Oh. Welcome, man. It's a new week. It's a new jam. So I've got some ambient noise in the background. This song I played during dinner one evening. Old family friend passed away. So, it's kind of melancholy. Well, melancholy song there. I'm adjusting the playlist. Okay, we're good. Good day, everybody. We're in the daylight time now. Daytime time now. Maybe I'll catch some fans, you know. Get the Europeans out here. Get them in here. Yes. Starting the stream off today. Today we're covering a topic I've been meaning to do for a long, long time. I've had it in my back pocket. I think it is time. It is time to do it. But before we get into that, what's been going on with my life? Not very much. The last section of a coding boot camp that I'm taking part in right now is finishing up. That I've read a bunch of comics in the meantime here. Read a bunch of manga and stuff. Started reading Kindergarten Wars. Although Kindergarten Wars doesn't have an official release in English yet, so I've been reading it in the Japanese, which is, you know, fun to do. Fun times. A little slower, but I'm picking up the pace. I'm getting more into it, you know. I'm doing what I do. Doing what I do when I do what I do. Hmm? Anyways, point being, it's a great comic. I hope it gets licensed soon. I can't imagine they're gonna let this one, you know, sit on the shelf and wallow away. Right? Although they could, I don't know. Comedies, licensors do not like to pick up comedies that much. You know, gag stuff, goofy things, unless they're really big hits or by like legends, you know, like Nichijou. That kind of stuff. It's gonna be tough. Like the Bochi manga is not licensed yet, right? So, and you know, the 4-panel comics, man, they struggle. It's tough. But Kindergarten Wars, I think, has enough sort of underlying action, excitement elements to it that it won't be a problem. It'll get there. It'll get there. Of course. What else? What else is going on? Oh. Shout out of the shout out. Got the shout out from some European chick. Huh? Oh, a little bit of drop frames there. Who she'll be starting her read through of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure soon. And I will be joining along with that. I will admit I have watched the show through quite a few parts. Some of part 6. 1, 2, 3. Part of 4, a little bit of 5 here and there. You know, with that said, JoJo is not really like a shocking twist kind of series, right? It's sort of a it's intriguing in its own right, you know. The fights have twists to them and turns, and you know, there are times, of course, where there's a big reveal, and that's crazy. What's Steel's stand gonna be? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But overall, it's, even if you know it's gonna happen, it has enough weight in its characters and in its storytelling to stand on it. It's good on its own terms, right? Doesn't need to surprise you, to compel you. And I'm interested to really dig into development of the art, because I know it changes over time. I mean, JoJo's is an incredibly long series. One of those big chonker series that can be intimidating, but I don't really care. We're just gonna do it. Logging into Viz because I'm gonna need that later. I'm excited to get down to JoJo's. Very excited. And then after we finish each part, I'm gonna try and match pace with some European chick with Elda. As she's reading through, although I'm not gonna lie, if you really like tangents and you know, the page by page discourse and just digging deep in, go to Elda's channel. We're clowning this motherfucker. There, we read fast here. We speed read on this channel, dude. I'm not really that good at reacts because I tend to process things holistically. Like, I just kind of bam, zoom through it, get it in my mind, and just start after that, start processing. So we're probably gonna blow through the pages pretty quick. If you're trying to read along, don't recommend coming to this channel. Unless you're trying to pick up the pace, you know what I mean? You're trying to get yourself moving forward. Challenge mode. This is the challenge mode read along channel, alright? Come here, you're like, I'm trying to become speed reader. And, in that case, then you're in the right place. Other notable things. Speed of motion. I heard a few people talk about this one. The first chapter was incredible. I saw... Oh my god. Oh no. This is horrible. Jake Jones. Kind of friend of the show. Jake Jones. He was talking about it, and the first chapter was incredibly moving, and I agreed. The first chapter is an absolute mind-blowing, heart-wrenching, inspiring, incredible one-shot. The thing is, this ain't a one-shot, it's a series. If you didn't actually know, Speed of Motion was a part of a contest. There was, I don't know if it's exactly a game show. Did they show it on TV? I think they read it on TV. Sort of, Jump Plus is, Shonen Jump's digital imprint that they've been building out, but the editorial staff seems to be doing something new with it. Digital publishing is not really new in the manga space at all at this point, right? But Jump Plus is using it in the way I think is the logical way to use it, which is just to have a more varied library of titles under their umbrella, under their editorial umbrella, right? Right? Because with print magazines, you're fighting for space, you're fighting for pages. Every single series is fighting for its life just to get out there, and the magazines themselves are fighting for users' wallets, right? That's why you have like strong demographics. The strong demographic segregation of series of works. Sort of like TV channels are like that too, right? Each channel has its sort of niche of shows because you're fighting for people's attention and to get into their cable packages. So you want to focus in on a demographic so that when people like one show, they will want more similar shows. Like the people who find one of your shows interesting, you want the other shows to also be interesting to them, so they stay tied in, right? And they pick yours rather than another one, right? So that's how the whole demographic model develops. But with digital publishing, you're not fighting for space, right? Because all you're trying to do is get people to sub. You just want to entice people to click that button that says pay $6 a month, whatever it is. You want the number of that up, and obviously you want the hits on the site so that advertisers can come in. But in the world of digital targeted advertising, you don't need to demographize your product. You need to focus your product on a demographic to have advertisers be able to focus their advertising on demographics. You can just get as wide a user base as possible, and then, you know, advertisers can use the distributed surveillance state data that they have access to try and target their advertising to users in that way. They don't need you to do that for them. Although it still happens. I mean, and it's not bad to do, but you don't have to do it. And since you don't have to do it, well, you can just cast as wide a net as possible. Get as many people as you can, pressing that plus $6. I think on Viz it's like plus $2, which is wild to me still. That it is that cheap. Manga licenses, dude. Jesus Christ. Anyway. And for that reason, you know, what we're gonna see going forward is one, probably consolidation, maybe a little fragmenting of the library as we saw with the streaming services. But you know, streaming videos is quite a bit more hefty than hosting manga pictures. Way more expensive, and obviously the production costs for a full television series are astronomical compared to the production costs for, you know, a weekly manga manuscript. Even though they both require a lot of work, but, you know, for a TV show, like a Netflix series, we're talking about a team of like 100 people at least working on any given show, and for a manga, you know, it's like a author and assistant team of like 3 to 7 people, depending. Yeah. So, yeah. Much fewer barriers to accepting and acquiring series. This opens the door for more room for up-and-coming authors, opens the door for more different kinds of content. We've already seen Jump dabble in picking up shoujo series from other magazines, licensing those out. I would love to see publishers start teaming up. Just tie it together. Just start putting it all together, because the truth of the matter is, good comics are good comics, and if you appreciate the medium overall, then no matter what kind of demographic you're talking about, you'll find something good. Read shoujo. You know what I mean? There's tons of great stuff in there there's just good comics. So you should just read them because they're good. And I hope this dissolution sort of the economic motives around the strong demographic walls that have existed in the past improves that kind of access and readership, and sort of equalizes the gender imbalances and everything that were artificially created by misguided understanding of consumer behavior and interest. Okay, that said, extremely long. I said this is the speed reading streamline channel. Alright, yeah, sure, dude. Sure. Oh, yeah. So streamlined. Beat in Motion was part of a competition. There was a competition, a one-shot competition, where different editors on the Jump Plus editorial team picked out sort of up-and-coming artists. Maybe they're a web artist, maybe they just submitted a rough manuscript one time that had potential, maybe they've done assistant work and they're trying to break into the industry on their own terms, kind of thing. You know, different people, different backgrounds. It's very like reality show. I didn't actually watch it. I don't think you can. If it was on TV, Japanese TV. They just don't put things on the internet because they're not that smart still. They're just slow with the tech stuff, man. That's all it is. They're just slow with the tech stuff. I don't know why. No one knows why. Everything you know about Cyberpunk is just a total fucking lie. Japan is not like that in any way. They're just like, they just fucking suck. They're like, nah. This fucking works. Who cares? Anyway, I don't know how to watch the show. Maybe there's a way to watch the show. Maybe I'll hit up I bet Mana on Twitter would know, if anyone would know. But this story, this manga, now running bi-weekly, 48 pages bi-weekly, by the way. So, no joke, alright? 2 very long chapters produced over the course of a single month. Impressive volume. Absolutely impressive volume. What is the series that is the serialization that was granted to the winner of this reality show after the competition. Everybody drew one shots. The one shot that this author drew, why isn't the author listed? Viz? Any credits to the person who made this on the informational page about this? Hello? Okay, we'll find out. Minor spoilers here. Beat in motion. Naoki Fujita. Fujita Naoki. Hanzawa Naoki. Janai. Fujita Naoki won that competition. His editor partner was Shinhei Lin. My fucking god, dude. He doesn't. We'll do a Shinhei Lin episode, dude. This guy's a fucking menace. He's a god. I don't know. He's a godly editor. He's one of the few people I've ever heard of in the manga industry truly stand out as an editor. You look at this guy's catalog of series that he has picked up and brought to the world. What the hell, dude? What? God damn. What are you doing? What is this? He is just a freak. He is a demon. This was his pairing. So, you know. Of course. So, Lin is the editor on this one, too. Other fucking editors at Jump Plus are like, he's gotta become, like, chief editor at some point. Like, just give him the fucking company, man. Just give him Jump Plus. Brother knows what he's doing, man. God damn. Editor-in-chief, for sure, no question. He should achieve that. The longer he doesn't achieve it, the longer I'm going to suspect, you know, a little bit maybe bias against immigrants. But we don't know. He's cooking crazy insane. He's just working as an editor right now. He deserves, I don't know, he's a god. He's just a god of editing, I guess. God editor, Shinhei Lin. This is one of his. This is turning into the Beat and Motion episode quickly, but it was not going to be a motion episode. There's other stuff I want to talk about. You know, fuck, I don't give a shit. Long stream today. Who cares? Update available. Shut up, dude. But the first chapter was incredible. Absolutely wild. absolutely bazonkers. Beautiful, heart-wrenching. Highly recommend you check out Jake Jones' take on it over on Jake Jones' channel. He had a great summary of what made it so moving and what made it particularly special to him, which honestly, I don't relate to this guy that much personally, but didn't matter because this chapter brought me into his life experience and broke my heart into a bajillion pieces. It was awesome. But after it was done, and we were heading into chapter 2, I already thought, damn, that was a great one-shot. Why is there another chapter? Which is, of course, kind of the problem with the whole competition. You know, you're asking these people to compete in a challenge, which is like, it's like saying, we're holding a short story competition and the winner gets a book deal. And it's like, you know, just because someone can cook up a banger short story, an absolute nutty, mind-blowing, life-altering short story, doesn't mean they can cook up a novel that's gonna really, you know, shake the earth. Not that you have to. I mean, if the series is just fine, that's way better than most artists ever get to do. So, you know what? Even if this one is not God level, the best of all time, you know what I mean? That's fine. Right? Halen does not need every single manga he edits to be the absolute greatest manga of all time. Let the man have a boring series. And chapter 2 came out and it wasn't boring. I would say it was boring, but I wouldn't say it was like that exciting. Not every chapter needs to be super exciting, but it was pretty long and not that exciting, which that's tough. This is a 48-page chapter. Felt like a 17-page chapter. The same thing kind of happens a lot. A lot of similar panels over and over again. But very much, you know, the main girl being cute scenes a lot. Dude likes her. Shocking. Like, never heard that one. Which, that's fine. It's formulaic. I love that. This is my favorite kind of thing, which is why I was very excited for it. But man, it was kind of bland with it. I'm gonna be honest. Chapter 2 was not cooking. Especially given coming off chapter 1. Chapter 1 goes in the top list of best chapters, top one-shots of all time. But, you know, Naoki kind of blew his load a little bit with chapter 1, and maybe he's suffering from a little bit of PNC in chapter 2. I need you to get more deranged and freaky with it again, dude. Go nuts. But it's tough. The leave off of chapter 1 is kind of... What are you gonna do? You know? You've kind of taken the what do you call that? The stakes of the story and unraveled them a little bit. So you have to rebuild the stakes, which she's trying to do here in chapter 2. But it's a little unclear. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be paying attention to yet with this. Again, which is fine, but this was just a very long chapter for that to be the case. So, I love chapter 1, so I really hope this series can come back to that same kind of energy. Chapter 2 was not there for me. That's what I wanted to say about that. Little review video. Just cut a review video in the middle of your stream. Okay, off the cuff. Didn't plan it. no, you know, I don't write shit because I don't have time. All right, that's how it is. This is what we do on this stream. Beat in motion review. Cut. Done. But you know, still enjoying the series. Great art, still good characters. Got a little boring. That's fine. Sometimes series are a little boring. Yeah. Let's turn the heat up. Bring it back. Make it spicy. You know, bring these characters over the coals. Make them hurt. Make them fight. Do something nasty. There are hints. There are elements. There's good things there. All right. I will let him cook. I'm not writing it off. Giving my feedback on the second show. Other things that I read. I talked about Kindergarten Wars. That's where I started. Kindergarten Wars. An indie comic that was being published on the Jump Webtoon platform that got so popular that they brought it over to the actual main platform where it can get that sweet licensing money and more editorial input from Shinhei Lin, of course. I mean, he has this. I'm starting to get worried for Lin because he's on a lot of really active and high-profile series. Dandadan, Chainsaw Man, of course. Now Beat in Motion. Now Kindergarten Wars. There's a couple more he's on that I can't remember. Rose just got manuscripts stacked. He's just grinding, dude. Lin, I hope you've got a backup or something. Take a break. Take some time off sometimes, dog. You know what I mean? But you know, it would be terrible to lose such a talented editor to overwork. But regardless, he's got Kindergarten Wars too. Kindergarten Wars, very good. I'm enjoying it a lot. You know, it's mostly comedy. Mostly a comedy, pretty funny. Good jokes. Sort of like gag, slapstick, action comedy kind of thing. Pretty cool. Definitely recommend that one. Anything else that I read that was particularly good? I don't remember. That means no, because I forgot them. And that's gonna stop the intro. Long ass intro this time. Impromptu Beat in Motion review off the top of my head. This is what happens when you guys aren't in chat. All right, I'm just off the rails. You can't hold me down. I do whatever the fuck I want. So, I'm gonna call it there. In terms of the intro, stream over. Let's get into the main topic today, which is capitalism in Chainsaw Man. Capitalism in Chainsaw Man. How does it work? What is it doing? I forgot the last part. It's okay. It's an ancient meme no one knows anyway. This is what I wanted to do for a long time. I was waiting for a moment where got some new subs in here, and I think the people, the little trickle of new fans over from some European chicks channel, you know. Yeah, I know what you guys are into. All right, I know what you freaks like. All right, you know what I mean? Ooh, let's do that. Center the text. Let's fucking go. Anyway. Yeah, I know what you you dirty socialists like, okay? So we're gonna do that today. Capitalism in Chainsaw Man, a topic that I've had in my mind for a long time. A topic that actually spawned, in some sense, this whole endeavor on this channel. This incredibly yet meager efforts on this channel. I'm still chilling, okay? I'm chilling on this right now. I am powering up, as I keep saying. This is one step back. Many moons ago, I wrote a tiny little thread about this topic. Sort of quote tweeting one of Elda's tweets where she was speaking on a similar subject, as I want to do. I love to just grab other people's tweets and just write a whole ass thread off them, which is just a deranged thing to do, but I love to do it. And that topic was about this. Not quite this. It was about the politics of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man's relation to political ideas. And Elda was like, wow, this thread fucking bangs. And so I was like, you know what? That's it. We're doing it. It's time. I'm gonna do this in absolutely unhinged rant form. We're gonna be doing 3-hour rants talking about some bullshit off the top of the dome. No prep, no notes, no nothing. Nada. That's right. Never write anything. This one's near and dear to my heart. I hope many people watch it. This is one I will actually try to push like a freak. I'm gonna be a self-promo loser on this one, but this is my baby. What I love to talk about in regards to Chainsaw Man. And, you know, before I get into capitalism in and of itself, one thing I just want to say is my take on Chainsaw Man overall is that while it is extremely character focused in terms of its storytelling, the characters are the heart of the storytelling in Chainsaw Man. Every single aspect of the story is, you know, comes to us through the characters. The character's experience of the world is how we know the world, which is one of the things that makes the actual details of the plot so tricky to navigate, because characters don't know everything, you know. The, you know, Angel talks about the cycle of death and rebirth that devils go through, and he explains the mechanics of it. And you think, oh, okay, now we know how it works. Except for there are multiple examples of, you know, instances of devils that seem to, you know, within that same arc, violate the principles which Angel lays out. And of course, that makes perfect sense, because Angel is just one devil. It's not like he's the god of devils that knows everything about the universe. He's just reporting, you know, his limited scope of knowledge about his understanding, or their, I don't know. What's Angel's gender? There. I mean, everybody says they're gay with Aoki, so I guess I would make him a him, but who cares? Angel. Angels are reporting Angel's limited understanding of devils and the mechanics of devils' existence. And that's how all the world building works. That's how literally every event that happens in the story is presented. Nothing happens, even though, you know, manga is kind of fundamentally a third-person omniscient perspective due to the mechanics of its rendering. Chainsaw Man is not a third-person omniscient story. There's no omniscience at all. Everything comes to the characters. And so, people think of the series in terms of the characters. Talk about, you know, the characters' motivations, how the characters relate to each other, the emotions, the impact, the trauma, the betrayals, all that stuff, right? That's what people consider Chainsaw Man to be as a story. I strongly disagree. My strong opinion is that Chainsaw Man is primarily a story about politics. The characters are the mechanism. Yes, Chainsaw Man is about politics. That's what the story is about. Writ large. The character relationships and their interactions are the vessels, the vehicles, the engine of the story, and all those relationships, that betrayal, that connection, all of that stuff is what moves the story forward and what we follow as the plot progresses. But what that plot is circling around is not the lives of those characters. That's why their lives are so thrown away. You know what I mean? That's why they are merely pawns in the larger, deranged plans that Fujimoto is cooking. Right? What the story is centered on in terms of its themes, its content, primarily political. So let's talk about it in terms of capitalism. There's more to it than that. There's fascism, which I touched on a little bit or in the very first Politics of Chainsaw Man video. #1 video on the channel, by the way, that isn't the Doofy interview. Doofy interview fucking crushing it. Doofy never fell off, okay? Don't listen to him. Alright? He will be back. Maybe. Someday. He's still doing the podcast, so he's not out of the game, you know? But other than the Doofy interview, alright? People want to hear about the politics of Chainsaw Man. Right, fine. Here we go. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. Let's do it. Right? I mean, just really basic stuff. Chapter 1, Volume 1. Page 1. Denji is trying to get his money up. He needs to kill devils in order to survive. It's his job. It starts as his job. That is his relationship to the battles. His relationship to fighting to protect humanity against the monsters is not, you know, save the world. It is pay my rent. And funny thing, he can't fucking pay rent. It's not working because he's in horrific amounts of debt. So you see what I mean when I say that the story is fundamentally political. It is a story driven by the material facts of capitalist politics. Right? A world in which people can effectively enslave each other through the mechanisms of illegal, under the table debt collection, right? Of course, there's, if you really want to talk about debt, Graeber's debt, his book Debt, is the gold standard in terms of the impact it has on human relationships. So, highly recommend that. But that's how the whole story starts. I mean, what else is there to say? It's a political story from the jump. And what we see by, Fujimoto having his lens centered on the characters, right? Fujimoto having his lens centered on the characters, intimately ties what is fundamentally a political narrative of being chained to debt. He brings that into a human perspective. Right? Lots of times leftists get really, really into the whole the process, the system, the this and that, the theory, go read Capital and come back to me. Nah, go read Chainsaw Man and come back to me, alright? Read something fun. Marx is no fun. Good for learning, but, extremely complicated and difficult to interpret. So difficult, many people have interpreted him in different ways. The ideas are still as slippery as ever. But when you bring those concepts down, when you pass from the big political bullshit of, why the fuck can society function this way, down to here is a victim of the system, well, that's very meaningful. Now, of course, a shonen battle main character starting as a down and out is nothing new. And the fact that Fujimoto happens to contextualize that in terms of capitalism, that doesn't mean the story's political overall. That's just the start. That's just the beginning. Shut up. All right, let's go into it. Because the whole story, the entire thing, it's just this same thing, right? Every single character is tied in similar ways. Now, not all of them are have their stories as directly linked to, the... try with the frames here. Whatever. Not as many of, not all the characters are quite as intimately tied into, the, shackles of capitalism as Denji is, with his whole backstory and the way he is constantly fighting to just maintain his material circumstances as per the dictates of capitalist structures of society. Right? But they're all tied in to these same social systems, the capitalist world order that we all live under. And let me be straight up here. I don't think Fujimoto is writing this as like, here, let me give you my extremely specific and detailed critiques of society writ large. Right? This is not a political essay in disguise. Like I said, the vehicle for all of this is always the characters. It is a story focused on the characters. It is focused on the way that the capitalist system impacts and changes its characters' lives. And not just capitalism, the larger sort of capitalist state-based, political order of the world. But capitalism is certainly a part of that. For example, right, moving away from Denji. First other character Denji meets, Makima, a little too complicated there, alright? You know, I talked about Makima hella long already in terms of, what her whole deal is. Don't know why bitrate is suffering. I know, man, every single streaming... I have a sneaking suspicion that AWS is not doing so good. Because lots of streamers on every platform are having more and more issues. I know there have been website outages not just at Twitter, but also at other places too. I mean, literally every web service in the fucking planet is using AWS. Can't go, AWS is not an infinite server bank, right? As much as they market their self as an infinite server bank, they are not. Because the internet here is fine. Like, there's no internet speed issues, broadly speaking. So I don't know. We're not dropping that many friends. Like 10%. That's too big a deal. Again, this is not, high FPS, mega octane content. This is a relaxing, put it on the background kind of stream. Come and drop a couple comments in the chat and just listen to the music, enjoy the vibes, get radicalized, destroy capitalism. Okay, but Makima is a little bit too complicated. Go check the whole Makima video for her whole deal, which I didn't even finish her whole deal. But you know what? Fuck it. We'll leave it there for now. And she's not immune to this at all, it seems, but we don't know the full details yet. I think more details will be forthcoming moving forward in the story, how it seems. But regardless, Aki, right? The first character besides Makima that Denji interacts with. Aki, he is a victim, a traumatized child, victimized at the hands of this political world order of demons and the devils, which turns out to be, although it is not presented to the public as such, turns out to be a part of this capitalist structure of fear and control that Um, just got distracted by a meme video on Twitter. Okay, we're out. We're out. Right? He is one of the people who's one of the many people throughout the world whose families fell victim to the gun devil. Right? And in the end, it turns out the gun devil is a part of the American military-industrial complex, which of course is intimately tied to capitalism. Of course, the gun devil is a part of the MIC. No duh. Really? You're telling me? You're telling me this devil made of guns has something to do with the US military? No shot. No way. Impossible. Right? So, Aki, in his character, in his story, in his vengeance, he, too, is tied directly in to the capitalist world order. Power seems like maybe not, but she was captured by Makima, captured and forced into a role as a devil hunter by Makima, a role which eventually leads to her death. Right? So she too is victimized by the exact same kind of system, a system of control rather than violence, in terms of like Makima the control devil versus the gun devil. A system of control and domination that power is caught in. Her whole story, her whole existence as Aki and Denji's roommate, and her being brought in to the Devil Hunters at all, is predicated again on this system. All of the underlying structures which connect the story together, which hold the world in place in Chainsaw Man, are like this. And you might say, well, of course it is. That's just how things are. Alright, and obviously there's Kobeni, right? She's in it for the money. She's a lot like Denji. She's doing what she's got to do to survive, although she's more so in a kind of a financially abusive relationship with her family, rather than just being a normal worker who is suffering under capitalism. Man. Oh, whatever, Biden. Even Himeno, who maybe doesn't seem as much to be involved in this way with, capitalism or what have you. She herself is basically, soldier in this military organization that is the Devil Hunters, who has been given deep-seated PTSD after the repeated death of her comrades. A victim of the military-industrial complex, similar to Aki. And there's Kishibe, the old soldier, who's seen it all before, you know? Alright, you start to see why I say fundamentally it is political. And since it is a fundamentally political story rooted in contemporary society, a little bit back in the day, but basically, that post-Soviet Union 1990s illusory era of peace. Um, Right, since it is a fundamentally political story, um, you know, Fujimoto choosing to ground the ideas and motives of his characters fundamentally in the politics of this world. And this world is, this world plus devils. Well, it's gonna be connected to capitalism. So, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb here, where capitalism and all of its, involvement with trapping people into these structures of violence, involving them with this involving them. Okay, hold up. Never mind. I'm not gonna bring the Twitter beef here, okay? We'll keep it on Twitter. And no need to do that. Oh, I love this jam. Absolute banger. I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say it does seem like Fujimoto's a big fan of the world order as it stands. Politicians not looking too good. They seem very blasé, even oppositional to the peace and safety of certainly the devil hunters, but just the citizens of the world at all. They use them as pawns, they sacrifice them, they imprison them, they torture them, they do whatever the hell they want, and they don't give a shit. And they, literally tie their lifespans to the military power of the state, and they just sacrifice as much as they want. They don't care at all, right? No regard for human lives. Completely unrelatable. Now I will say, we don't see a whole lot of business owners, There's not a lot of addressing of capitalism in Marx's sense directly, right? None of the villains are necessarily bad cat private industry owners or whatever. It's more so in terms of political leaders and their control over the population, but an intimate part of that control as the mechanics of capitalism that allow them to exert that control through the financial requirements of survival. Another good one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hmm? Not to you. That's not too bad. So, capitalism as a concept in the series does take sort of a backseat to maybe what you might call the state, the surveillance state, this faux type panopticon, Makima's always watching type shit, you know? But it certainly plays a key role. It certainly plays a key role, and it doesn't look too good. So, let's take a little think. Have a little thoughts about what is capitalism's role in this political story? Because my idea is this is fundamentally a political story. So how does it work? Well, first of all, it's trapping Denji into his circumstances. But it's also motivating him not to question us. Right? Even while Denji is trapped by the system of debt that gets him into this whole mess in the first place. And what a mess it is. Which, you know, thrusts him from childhood into a life with no peace ever. Nothing good ever. God damn. God damn, Fujimoto. Please. Please leave him alone. Leave my boy alone. You know? Let him have a crumb of happiness. Any crumbs of happiness, anybody? No? Okay. Right? Even as the system of capitalist exploitation and debt entrapment is what, you know, ties Denji into this whole mess in the first place. The outcome of this is that or rather it's that same capitalist order which keeps him in the mindset that it's important that he not escape, that he not turn against this, that this is the way to survive, right? No choice but to submit or die, right? Hey, capitalism, look at that. Amazing. Enclosures. We love those. I'm just cooking a little bit, just considering, thinking about things, enjoying some music. Enjoy the music. Mm-mm. Right, and we see this entrapment in a lot of places. With Kobeni. Um, uh, not with Kobeni. And then, okay. This is all about part one. Oh, there's obviously, international assassins. Are hired by states, right? So black market capitalism, accessed by state governments to execute state-sponsored violence through the mechanisms of capitalism. Another good one. Again, not good. Capitalism not looking so good in this one. And then in part two, we of course see, Yuko's whole fascist thing and being poor herself. Asa's sort of meager financial circumstances as an orphan or something. We don't actually know what her deal with her dad is, but at least her mom is dead due to the violence of the devils. And she is surviving on whatever meager savings she has. There is this burgeoning mass media effort to commodify Chainsaw Man in a way that is sort of very very clear cut to those of us living in the modern social media age, where he is turned into a point of controversy to create viewership and ratings for monies. Right, the motivation of the media to sensationalize and exaggerate and commodify public figures. Meanwhile, that same media apparatus is being used again to paper over underlying violence in the system of the nation state. The devils, which are just killing everybody. Why? Why is that just happening? And now nobody's gonna do anything about that, I guess. I mean, they're trying, I guess, but are they? Were the devil hunters, even in part 1, really trying to just like kill devils? Not really. They were trying to gather pieces of the gun devil. It was a power struggle for access to guns, right? The gun devil. Not some, noble goal to save humanity or whatever. Alright, and that fact, the underlying fact of this devil violence, which is killing people all the time, and could be, battled against more strongly, is being papered over by this mass media controversy, focusing on Chainsaw Man, erasing the casualties involved, and instead focusing on the, yay, he beat another devil, he saved a cat. Meanwhile, a bus full of children and a young guy, went splat on the ground. Oh, wow. Not reporting that. But, yes, reporting Chainsaw Man. Look how cool. Very fascistic, very capitalist, very nice. We love to see that. And underlying all of that is the fact that all of this power, all of this devil stuff that is being being used to create these structures of exploitation and violence, and capitalist extraction of wealth, these debt traps and everything. All of that is rooted in fear, right? The devil powers are based in fear. The more you fear the devil, the stronger that it is. And the power of that devil is what the state uses to maintain and enforce the capitalist order that allows it to extract wealth and material power from its citizens. Ooh, love that one. I had to hold back an aggressive tweet. Calm your emotions. right? This whole thing, this whole structure of power is rooted in fear. So Fujimoto is painting this picture of these systems where everyone is being, the whole thing is fueled by the fear of the people subject to this order. Everyone is terrified of the devils, of the violence that is they know to be present in their lives, but the system demands they sublimate that fear. It has to maintain the fear, but sublimate it. So you have the devil hunters that give the appearance of fighting for security, even though in actuality, all they're doing is being thrown into a meat grinder as sacrifices as a part of a plot to further increase and entrench that power and fear which fuels the system. Right? Right? So, group chat is being goofy. But what we have is, a truly bleak and pessimistic portrayal of the system of nation states and the capitalist order that maintains it through violence. Right? It's rooted in fear, it's powered by fear, it builds fear, but it hides that fear behind the patina of heroism in order to maintain the illusory peace which the citizens need to believe in to not, be overcome by fear and make the devils too powerful to the point where they cannot be manipulated and controlled, right? Which is, as of chapter 122, what we are starting to see. This cycle of expanding fear through systems of control has led to some kind of scenario where somehow a primal devil of hell, one of the four horsemen, what everybody is like when 95% sure is the Death Devil, but Fujimoto's just leaving us hanging a little bit for funsies. This devil has managed to be summoned onto Earth somehow. We don't know how. Apparently, Fami, the famine devil, is bringing. Actually, it should be Fami, because it's the English translation, Kiga. Apparently, Fami is somehow bringing devils back from hell, and maybe that was involved in bringing the Death Devil back. But certainly, all devil power is rooted in fear, so some level of fear is required in order for this to work at all. And so it's starting to break down. The devils are starting to lose control. The end of humanity is coming upon us because, the fear that was forgotten is still there, right? We are merely plastering over these fears which still dominate our daily life. They are what powers the entire system, which, the state is using to maintain its dominance at the expense of its citizens' peace and livelihood. Wow, never heard of that. And there's so many parallels to the real world. I'm not even gonna try and get into it. Pick your favorite one. Tell me in the comments, what's your favorite horrific reality of existence under capitalism that you see paralleled in the system of devils operating as an arm of the state. That'll be your favorite. Right, so we see how this capitalist world order built on exploitation and fear is structured in Fujimoto's mind, in Fujimoto's imagination of this world. And I mean, that's a very brutal and bleak picture of it is. I don't think Fujimoto's a big fan of capitalism. That's what I'm trying to say. I know I'm going way out on a limb here. I'm talking absolutely crazy stuff here. But yeah. That's I know that's nuts to think about, but it is what it is. And just as a point of contrast, right? You might say, okay, that's cool, I guess. But you know, wouldn't that be true of anybody who writes a story that has like critical points about the world order or whatever? Not really. Contrast that to something like Naruto. Naruto has a reputation for being what we call in the business lieb shit. Right? Just talk it out, Lamau. But, you know, Naruto is not really that concerned with capitalism. The material aspect of people's lives, their access to shelter and food, is really not ever present in the story. They just go to get ramen and somebody's buying. Right? There's like infinite access to healthcare through a variety of ninja abilities. There's no sense of material precarity in the basics of daily life in Naruto. It's all about the big, you know, national identity, nationalism. It, you know, paints a picture. It paints a liberal narrative of the world where the reason that, you know, different countries can't get along is because they disagree and they have these historical resentments. And if we could all just sit down and figure it out, you know, it'd be cool, right? And that's the idea. It's like everyone's mad because their dad punched their dad, because my dad punched your dad. I hate you because my dad punched your dad. You know? Shut up. Your dad's stupid. Alright? My dad's the best dad. Your dad's a dumb dad. You punched my dad. Fuck you. Oh, Sridhar. Love Sridhar Ramesh. Right? Contrast that with Chainsaw Man's view of national conflict. They're all it's all the same shit. There's no like ideological underpinning that puts them in conflict. They all want exactly the same thing, which is dominance over the system of devil powers. They're all just fighting to control the devils, make contracts with the gun devil, to you know, have Makima on your side, right? Which turns out to be foolish, because the gun devil like murks 2 bajillion people, and Makima, you know, basically usurps control over the entire Devil Hunter organization to pursue some deranged, you know, devilish vision of the world. Right? Yeah. The fundamental contradictions of the capitalist military-industrial complex world order comes back to bite it. Weird. That's never happened before. Blowback. Never heard of it. What? Okay. Right? So, it is not lib shit. It is very much rooted in an anti-capitalist, anti-military industrial complex vision of the world. Whereas something like Naruto really doesn't ever address those facts. We don't see the fucking Leaf Village and the Sand Village battling for control over Warm Water Port, right? And we don't see that. We don't get that perspective, right? It's, a long history of disagreement and resentment. Yeah. Shut the fuck up, all right? What's the real shit? What's really going on here? But there is nothing really going on in Naruto, because even at the very beginning, when Naruto is like an orphan on the streets, somehow there's just like a nice dude who, blows, feeds, and shelters him, because, that's just how, like, if you're in a rough spot, some nice dude's just gonna help you. Oh, yup, that's totally real, Very reflective capitalist society. Yeah, not really, dude. The realities of capitalism are completely unaddressed. Basically, in all of like the big three era shonen, there's no capitalism is not present in the story at all. It is just society is just working fine. Baseline, but there are threats attacking it. Oh my god, dude. Absolutely. Now there is one series everybody knows. One Piece is one of the very few other series in the history of Jump to really have this aspect where you consistently whenever you go to a new island, you find the huddled masses being victimized by an autocratic capitalistic overlord, and it is up to Luffy to climb Mount Capital and punch evil capitalists in the face, which, do it again. Punch him again. Right? Please punch the capitalist once more. I want to see it again. I want Luffy to do it again. I want him to keep doing it. I never want to stop. Never end. Man, imagine Oda writes another series. There's no way. Like, One Piece is done. He's done, right? Like, oh man, imagine Oda starts a new series. That would be quite the day. Alright, Twitter would probably crash. It's already on life support. Anyway. Right, so you can see how aggressively political Chainsaw Man is as a story, in contrast to the majority of stories which show up in anything. I mean, it is a deeply political story at its core, but especially in like popular manga series running in Jump, right? You almost never ever see this, and that, I think, is one of the reasons. And this will be my final thoughts here. This is why I think Chainsaw Man is such a breakout series. We all know it has great characters, and the way those characters relate to each other and the way they relate to the plot of the story is absolutely fire. The core of the storytelling is just well done. It's just a well-told story with compelling characters that go through interesting character arcs. But there's lots of those. Alright? Not to say that that's easy to do, but I wouldn't say that Fujimoto is, you know, blowing the world open with any of the stories underlying these characters. They're pretty normal. Things that we've seen before. You know, Aki trying to get vengeance for his family. You know, Sasuke. Oh, okay. You know, that's not a new one. But putting all of this in the context of the capitalist political order that we all live under, that we all suffer through in the same way as these characters, makes it resonate that much more. Fujimoto's blunt, brutal, pessimistic indictment of the capitalist, nationalist, military-industrial complex world order is what makes the story hit the way it does, because that's what you live in. You don't live in fake Naruto world where sad little orphans get a nice meal and become Hokage because their dad was secretly Hokage. No. You live in the world where the sad little orphan that everybody hates dies. And the only way that they could possibly survive is to make a deal with the devil. Sympathy for the devil. To turn against humanity and ally with humanity's enemies. Because the true villains of Chainsaw Man are not the devils. If there was a devil I could get along with, I'd become their friends. Because I don't have any friends. Because humanity has betrayed me. You see? And that betrayal, the way Denji is betrayed by society, the way Aki is betrayed by public safety, the way that power is captured and victimized, right? That's all stuff we know. And all of these characters are just trying to live. They just want to live, but they can't. And the reason they can't is because these systems won't let them. These capitalist systems will not let them live. And we all feel that. We have to fight to survive, not because there's some scarcity of this and that. That's such a big problem that you couldn't, you know, dole things out if you had to. No. It's just because motherfuckers want more money, they want more power, they want more control, and they use violence and fear to do it. That's what's underlying the series, and that's what feels so real the whole time. That's what makes the stories of these characters have that resonating heart of frustration and pain that you feel, because it's the pain you feel in your life, in this political world order that Fujimoto is giving such a deep and detailed indictment of through the story of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man hates capitalism. That's the rant, that's the stream. No one coming in live today, that's okay. I didn't really give much wind-up, warm-up. Set up to the stream, I was kind of busy, a little tired weekend, so it was kind of spur of the moment, go, go, go. That's fine. Everybody who comes in and checks the VOD, I hope you watched all the way through. I know they can be pretty long. This one's a little bit under 2 hours, which is my target time for these rant streams. Yeah. And that's that. Again, as I had mentioned before, there is going to be JJBA, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reading streams coming through. soon. That'll be fun. I want to get back on Persona soon, although I think I'm still a little busy for that. I'm just not really in the right headspace for that right now. It might be a little while. It will come back though. It's not gone forever. We will be finishing Persona 5. Do not worry on stream. Diablo 4 coming out soon. I'll probably stream some of the beta, just a little taste, just to get a little look at exactly all what's going on. I don't think I'll stream my whole beta playthrough, just because it's just the beta. But I'll put a little bit on it just because, you know, fuck it, fire up the stream, play the game. Why not? That'd be fun. I'm looking forward to that a lot. Diablo 4 looks very good. I always enjoyed the Diablo 3, even though I do think it got a little, you know, goofball with the whole season system that it developed, but whatever. That's fine. Also, new AniTube interview coming very soon. I'm doing that later today. Stay tuned for exactly who it's gonna be. Although, if you follow me on Twitter and you are a truly deranged Doves fan, you know, then you're locked in with that. You're locked in with that. Huh? You know what? You know who it's gonna be. You know who it is. But I'm not gonna leak it on stream. Stay tuned. It'll be exciting. It'll be cool. I'm gonna do that interview later today. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that a lot. I'm learning a lot. Honestly, I've not been doing super great on the interviewing end thus far, but I'm trying to learn and improve as we go through the stuff. So I have some new ideas about how to do it, how to approach it. I've done it well before. I'm kind of missing the vibe though. So I'm gonna try and get back into that vibe a little bit better, get into the right headspace, a little more listening. In terms of the interviews, but the Crash one still turned out great, and the Doofy interview was also a very fun time. So yeah, look forward to that next one. That'll be coming soon. We're gonna love to see that. I'm very excited for it. Fuck capitalism. Fuck the military-industrial complex. That said, Makima did nothing wrong. Thanks for watching.